This is EB3, speaking the truth in love, and I just come on for a couple of minutes before I go into work just to give you guys a word of encouragement. You know, sometimes the truth is so hard to hear, and sometimes it's hard to speak as well. But we must speak the truth in love, no matter how bad it seems like nobody's listening. If God has put something on your heart, sometimes it might be just for one particular person. Sometimes it's for a whole group of people. But at any rate, speak it. And speak it as clearly as you can. And be bold in what you speak. But just make sure you do it in the spirit of love, in the spirit of compassion, and in the spirit of God. Don't do anything with revenge, hate, and unforgiveness. Listen, unforgiveness is the root of bitterness and hate. The only thing we should be hating is not the person, but the sin. And why we hate sin? We hate sin because God hates sin. Anything that's not of God is of the devil. And so we must call those things out that are not like God, that's operating among the saints and even in the world. But at the same time, we must show love and compassion, realizing that it was only because of God's grace and his mercy that we are not walking in the same conditions as those around us. God has given us all a mission. And one of our missions is that we all have in common is to love. And another one is to be obedient to the voice of God and do what he say. Listen, just as we walk boldly to the throne of grace, we must also walk boldly in the things of God. This has been EB3, speaking the truth in love, trying to remind you and encourage you to be all that God has called you to be in the midst of the darkness and in these trying times. God has not forgotten you, and he has not forgotten what he's told you to do, and he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. So be what God has called you to do. Speak the truth in love, no matter how bad it seems, and no matter how many times it seems like nobody's listening to you. No matter what it is, speak it, but speak it in love. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Be blessed, and I am out.